Hello, everybody. This is José Ignacio from the Uncomfortable Dialogues 2022. Thank you very much for joining us today. We value your participation and feedback. For today's dialogue, we have an excellent businessman. He's truly an innovator. He has been in the space of innovation for multiple years in multiple regions and companies. He started in Mexico, came to America, led innovation at Whirlpool, Allstate, and Moen, among other companies. And he's also a founding member of Notre Dame's Innovation Academy. Welcome to this dialogue, Moisés. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fine. Tell me more about what are you doing in terms of innovation? Or say it differently, because you are focused on innovation, did you anticipate COVID or it was just a surprise for you, like anybody else in the world?
Well, I don't think anybody could have predicted that. It was certainly a shock for me and my team. I know the shock came because I think a lot of companies were in panic mode, and one of the first things that companies will think is cut the future. Like they just had to focus on surviving. And I thought at the time, the first thing they're going to get rid of is innovation, but actually that was not the case, which was great. It was great, and it was a good decision because turns out that the business started to do very well because everyone was remodeling their home. So it was a good thing, and obviously we had to rethink how to work because innovation is a very collaborative sport. But yeah, it was a shock, as I'm sure it was for everybody.
It seems to be kind of an oxymoron. If you have this type of crisis, the very first thing you have to do is innovate.
Mm-hmm.
Many companies do exactly the opposite. They stop funding on innovation, which is kind of counterintuitive.
Absolutely. Since then, I kind of been reevaluating my career, and I went back to Notre Dame. I founded this program, Be More Innovative, and also spent a lot of time creating what I call the 10 Commandments for Conscious Innovation and Growth. That's a learning program. And basically what I did is, I felt I had a lot to share. So I created these 10 Commandments, and I created these videos. They're very dynamic. I made an attempt to make them very practical, a little bit joyful and funny at times.
I have known you for a long time, and since then, I know that you are truly an innovator. Among these 10 commandments, do you find kind of an antidote to prevent future crises to happen? Or
I think there are a lot of elements of that embedded in the commandments. One of the first ones I found, actually is the first one is, thou shalt leverage a vision or create a vision. And I think companies have to stick to vision of what they want to be and who they want to be. And when something like COVID hits, sticking to that, is what can get you out of it and create more compelling reasons for customers to stay with you. Another one that seems to resonate from that perspective is the idea of managing a portfolio of opportunities. Another one that I think it's important, it's the idea that you should collaborate. In a world like COVID, people started to collaborate maybe in ways that they didn't think before. Those are three topics or themes that I think were presented in the commandments that apply to the COVID crisis.
That's an excellent recap. So in a way, we need to have vision, we need to have a portfolio of alternatives, and the other one is collaboration. Mm-hmm. And these three elements really fit together because what I have seen in this space is that many companies have already advanced the master plan for 2030 into 22 because we were forced to advance whatever we were planning to do in the future. And that really talks about the portfolio of alternatives. But for them to be successful, they also need to collaborate and they need to have the vision, which is perfectly right on target. So once again, the commandments really make sense to follow them, including Moisés' commandments.
Yeah.
Hey, another idea, imagine that we were in 2040 and you want to have a chat or a coffee and they say, hey, Moisés, do you remember what happened in 2021 and 2020 when we were facing the COVID? And yet, obviously it was a massive and brutal human health crisis. But besides that one, we can really pinpoint few elements that really make companies to survive and to be successful. Which will be the few elements that today you can anticipate will be kind of very well known 20 years into the future?
I think adaptability is going to be critical, and that goes into many contexts. But we're seeing how many things have changed, like just being flexible to people working from home or having different arrangements. I think the way we think about work has radically changed. And that forced people and companies to think differently. And the other one, I think it's being curious about the situations that you are facing and thinking about ways to grow that are maybe out of your comfort zone or your immediate. Found out many things that we didn't anticipate. For example, when I was with Moen, one of the projects that we had been working for a long time, and we will always say, no, it's not going to work, was the idea to get into what is called smart toilets, but it's really EBDs. In the Asian markets, that's very common. Most toilets have a bidet function included. And I had several projects where we were looking at these as an alternative for the US, and we'll always come to the conclusion the American consumer doesn't want it. And what happened when COVID hit? Crisis in toilet paper. And once there was no toilet paper, one of the top searches in Amazon was bidets. So that just accelerated. If we had stuck with that plan, we'll have just taken the market by storm. So I will say, believe your instincts in the trends you're seeing. We saw that trend coming. At some point that's going to change, but it took something like this to actually start the conversion. So I will say be more open to really experimenting in the areas that we see as future opportunities.
Yeah, excellent. I really like your example. And actually, whenever we see this massive crisis, the impossible will happen. And the question is, we should really have a portfolio so that you have the plan B and plan C. Mm-hmm. Because things will change dramatically whenever we see crisis. And unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to be the one-time event. We may have future crises, not necessarily health crisis, but there will be other type of crisis that really may take us by surprise.
Yeah, I always talk in this part of the commandments of this portfolio of opportunities that allow you to manage risk. And if I take that example that I was giving you, if we had not shelved the project of the toilets and had kept incubation of that, it's like we've had created a portfolio of opportunities, and that will have been the gold. Like, okay, when everything goes down, that one will have gone up, and we could have accelerated that.
Hey, we're kind of running out of time, but I have last one question for you. So thinking out loud into the future, what do you think is going to be innovative thinking? So
you mean in terms of how we work, or just in general across?
Yeah, how we work, for instance. Right now, there is a debate that we used to work all the time in the office. Mm-hmm. Now we came to remote working. And now what's going to happen? Are we continue to stay remotely? Or
I think it's going to be a much more fluid environment. I think we're going to get more comfortable with a mixed hybrid environment. I don't think we've cracked the code on that. I've been working with some clients on workshops, and we try to do this hybrid model where some people are in the room, some others are not. That I think still has to be figured out. But we're going to be more tolerant to that. We're going to be more aware of people that are not in front of us, and I think we're going to move into a hybrid model where everyone's comfortable wherever you are. And I think that's going to make us more productive and more flexible as humans in general.
Excellent. Yes, I think that we as employees will require flexibility. Mm-hmm. We don't need to really surrender our comfort being at home, where we need to get a job. Well, anyway, it's really a pleasure to talk to you, Moisés. We are really looking forward to listen more about the 10 Commandments. So for everybody else, guys, if you have any question or comment to me or to Moisés, just drop a note in the LinkedIn page or in the YouTube, and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much, Moisés. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I wish you a nice week. And for everybody else, thank you for watching these videos. We have far more interviews